The 9,953rd meeting of the Security Council is called to order. The provisional agenda for this meeting is the question concerning Haiti. The agenda is adopted. In accordance with Rule 37 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure, I invite the representatives of Barbados, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Kenya to participate in this meeting. It is so decided. On behalf of the Council, I welcome His Excellency, Mr. Roberto Alvarez Gil, Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Dominican Republic. In accordance with Rule 39 of the Council's Provisional Rules of Procedure, I invite the following briefers to participate in this meeting. Mr. Miroslav Jancha, Assistant Secretary General for Europe, Central Asia and Americas, Departments of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs and Peace Operations, and Madam Ghada Fathi Wali, Executive Director, United Nations Office on Drugs. It is so decided. The Security Council will now begin its consideration of Item 2 of the agenda. I now give the floor to Mr. Miroslav Jancha.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me to extend my congratulations to Pakistan on assuming the presidency of the Security Council for the month of July. Distinguished members of this Council, I thank you for the opportunity to provide this briefing on Haiti. I would like to begin by expressing our gratitude to Maria Isabel Salvador, whose term as Special Representative of the Secretary General and head of the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti, BINU, concluded this week. Since my last visit to Haiti in January to engage in consultations with authorities on the Secretary General's recommendations, we have continued to witness a sharp erosion of state authority and the rule of law. Brutal gang violence affects every aspect of public and private life. During my visit, I was struck by the profound transformation of Port-au-Prince. The capital city was for all intents and purposes paralyzed by gangs and isolated as a result of the ongoing suspension of international commercial flights into the Toussaint Louverture International Airport. Since then, gangs have only strengthened their foothold, which now affects all communes of the Port-au-Prince metropolitan area and beyond, pushing the situation closer to the brink. Without increased action by the international community, the total collapse of state presence in the capital could become a very real scenario. Haitian-led efforts to advance the political process have made progress. The Provisional Electoral Council, which support from BINU and other UN partners, has continued preparations to complete the constitutional review and hold elections within the timeline set by the April 2024 agreement. The recent adoption of the decree regulating the constitutional referendum, as well as the adoption of the new penal code and the code of criminal procedure, are welcome developments. However, clear divergences among stakeholders are apparent regarding the feasibility of holding a constitutional referendum and elections by February 2026, particularly concerning the need to establish a climate of security and trust for those elections to take place. Any delays or efforts to undermine the political transition reaching the 7 February 2026 deadline for the installation of a newly elected executive and parliament would be worrisome. Haiti cannot afford a drift in the political transition. In supporting the political process, BINU promoted broader and more inclusive participation in the political transition, including of women and youth, through supporting civil society dialogue on transition priorities, including security, economic recovery, reforms, and elections. We welcome the support and momentum generated by the regional member states and organizations for decisive action to advance the current political transition and prevent the spread of insecurity and criminality. Last week, Haiti was a key topic of discussion at the General Assembly of the Organization of American States in Antigua and Barbuda. The adoption of the OAS resolution on Haiti is encouraging and reflects the region's commitment to supporting international efforts and strengthening existing entities and platforms already in place, namely the MSS. We look forward to stronger collaboration with the OAS and to the action plan on Haiti to be submitted by its Secretary General. In addition, the Caribbean community's ongoing efforts, notably through the Eminent Persons Group to foster dialogue and collaboration among Haitian stakeholders, have proven instrumental in advancing the country's transition towards the restoration of the rule of law and of democratic institutions. Mr. President, Excellencies, it remains clear that sustained political progress will only be achieved through concrete efforts to address and significantly improve the security environment. While Port-au-Prince remains the epicenter of gang violence, major attacks in Artibonite and Centre departments, particularly in Mirebalais, demonstrate the growing capacity and intent of gangs to expand their reach into northern departments. The commune of La Chapelle in Lower Artibonite department is the latest to fall under gang control following an assault by gang members on 22nd June, which displaced at least 8,890 residents. The ransacking of the local police substation illustrates the intent to systematically undermine state authority and prevent any efforts to re-establish law and order. The brutality and scale of the violence that continues to be committed against communities by armed gangs is plunging the country into even deeper suffering and trauma. This year alone, BINU recorded 4,026 victims of international homicide, including 376 women, 21 girls, and 68 boys. This represents a 24% increase compared to the same period last year. Meanwhile, the number of people internally displaced by gang violence has now reached 1.3 million, another tragic record number. Widespread impunity for atrocities continues. In April, a gang attack in Petite Rivière resulted in 57 people killed, 4 abducted, over 16,000 people displaced, and approximately 80 homes set on fire. Amidst the increasing public frustration with the limited protection capacity of the state, vigilante or self-defense groups are gaining in popular appeal. Although these groups often serve as the last remaining security mechanisms in many areas, they violate fundamental human rights, including the right to life and the right to a fair trial, and simultaneously fuel further violence in the form of retaliatory attacks by gangs. Over the last 3 months, these groups reportedly killed at least 100 men and 1 woman suspected of gang association or collaboration. Communities remain extremely vulnerable to gang violence, which continues to have disproportionate impact on women and girls. The past 3 months marked an increase in sexual violence committed by gangs, used deliberately to instill fear and assert control over communities. Despite persistent underreporting of sexual violence due to fear of reprisals, social stigma, and lack of trust in institutions, from March to April, BINU documented 364 incidents involving 378 survivors. BINU continues to support the Haitian National Police in strengthening capacities to investigate sexual violence and provide integrated support to survivors. It is critical that authorities take concrete action against the current state of impunity of these heinous crimes. Distinguished delegates, on 26 June, the multinational security support mission led by Kenya marked 1 year since its first contingents arrived in Haiti. We extend our gratitude to Kenya for its continued commitment to leading the MSS, and we offer our deepest sympathy for the loss of 2 MSS police officers in the line of duty. Despite their best efforts, the MSS and Haitian National Police have been unable to make headway in restoring state authority, and without additional security support from the international community, the outlook is bleak. Additional voluntary contributions to the MSS Trust Fund are needed to sustain the mission and ensure the achievement of its objectives. The Secretary General's recommendations within his letter of 24 February proposing to establish a UN support office to provide logistic and operational support for the MSS are a realistic and practical proposal to address Haiti's immediate security needs. International action cannot come soon enough to ensure the gains made so far are not squandered. In this respect, I welcome the Council's discussion earlier this week and wish to recall that the Secretary General's recommendations offer an immediate solution, one that does not exclude medium and long-term options, but it needs to be the starting point. Once a strengthened MSS has provided sufficient support to the Haitian security institutions, a stabilization phase can follow. When BINU was established in 2019, it was not designed to operate in the kind of hostile environment we are facing today. Yet, it has remained on the ground without interruption, despite the temporary reduction in international staff. That reduction reflects the limited options for evacuation, with just the single UNHAS helicopter currently available due to the suspension of commercial flights and the ongoing gang encirclement of Port-au-Prince. Consequently, and as outlined in the Secretary General's letter to the Council yesterday, the Secretariat, in coordination with BINU, has undertaken a review of BINU's mission concept with the objective to have a reconfigured BINU, more focused, smaller, yet more impactful, that can sustain its international staff and personnel working from Port-au-Prince amid the security crisis. The additional resources needed for enhanced security and evacuation capabilities to be included in the budget for 2026 would be offset by savings from a reduced footprint. We remain committed to aligning BINU's overall budget with UNODC revised estimates. Excellencies, we must not fail Haiti at this critical moment. Let us act now. The options we have on the table now will be considerably less costly and complex than if there is a total collapse of state presence. There is not a moment to lose. The United Nations continues to stand in solidarity with the people of Haiti, who deserve to live in dignity and free from the threat of violence. I thank you.
I thank Mr. Jancha for his briefing. I now give the floor to Madam Gada Fatih Wali, who has joined us via VTC.
Thank you, Mr. President. Monsieur le Président.
Mr. President, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for providing me with an opportunity to inform you of the situation in Haiti pursuant to the Resolution 2692 by the Security Council and pursuant to paragraph 19 of Resolution 2743. Today, I will present to you the conclusions of the 8th UNODC report to the Council, and it covers the developments between March and June 2025. The report shows that the security and crime context in Haiti is becoming increasingly complex. What was already a grave situation is deteriorating further. The armed gangs are strengthening their foothold, they adapt their tactics, and they're dismantling what remains of the rule of law at the time when the Haitian people continue suffering the consequences.
Since our last briefing, organized criminal groups have gained near total control of the capital, with an estimated 90% of Port-au-Prince under their grip, while they continue expanding across strategic routes and border regions. In March, gangs affiliated with the Vive Ensemble coalition launched coordinated attacks on multiple infrastructure sites across the city of Mirebalais, including its prison facility, which led to the escape of 529 high-risk detainees, many with links to firearms, drugs, and human trafficking. The audacious attack showcased the gang's increasing willingness and capacity to challenge state authority. As reported by IOM, the aftermath of the attack also further compounded Haiti's humanitarian crisis, with over 51,000 residents, including more than 27,000 children, forced to flee to nearby towns such as Las Cajolas, Belader, and Inche. At the same time, vital public infrastructure is being disrupted. In May, the Péligre hydroelectric dam, which supplies nearly 30% of Haiti's electricity, was shut down by local residents who blocked access to the facility in protest against the deteriorating security situation, which triggered widespread blockouts.
A special representative of the Secretary General, Maria Isabel Salvador. I would like to express my deep gratitude for her exemplary leadership and her commitment to serve the people of Haiti and the United Nations. UNODC is committed to working together with BINO, the Haitian institutions, and our international partners to restore stability, strengthen the system of criminal justice, and uphold the rule of law in Haiti. I thank you for your attention.
I thank Madam Wali for her briefing. I now give the floor to those council members who wish to make statements. And I give the floor to the representative of the United States.
Thank you, Mr. President, and congratulations on your presidency. I'd also like to thank Assistant Secretary General Jenka and Executive Director Wali for your briefings and for BINO's team's efforts. I would also like to thank SRSG Maria Isabel Salvador for her leadership of BINO. It's clear from your report that Haiti continues to face serious challenges in both security and governance. The lack of security and overall instability in Haiti threaten to impede the holding of free and fair elections in a timely manner, while the territorial expansion of the gangs threatens to undermine the important gains made by both the Haitian National Police and the Multinational Security Support Mission. The United States thanks Kenya for its long-standing role in promoting peace and security and for its leadership of the MSS mission since the initial deployment 1 year ago. Without the presence of the MSS mission, the gangs would be even more emboldened in their ambitions and brazen atrocities against civilians in Haiti. We remain concerned about the increasing levels of violence, recruitment of children in armed gangs, and food insecurity. As a result of the escalating gang violence, Haiti was reported as one of the countries with the most violations and abuses against children in 2024. The large majority were committed by the Vivre Ensemble Coalition, which was listed for the first time in the Secretary General's report on children in armed conflict. In May of this year, the United States designated Vivre Ensemble as a foreign terrorist organization. We will continue to support efforts to promote accountability for its actions, including our recent nomination of this gang in the UN Haiti sanctions regime. We support recommendations by Haiti's panel of experts on sanctions targets. UN asset freezes and travel bans remain important tools for promoting accountability of those contributing to or complicit in destabilizing activities in Haiti. Corruption remains a major issue. We condemn the actions of those who commit abuses of office, work with terrorist organizations, and participate in arms and ammunition trafficking. This permissiveness only continues to fuel the gang violence and complicates the resolution of this dangerous situation. The United States remains committed to working with the international community to drive progress forward in Haiti and support increased contributions from regional actors like the OAS in Haiti. A few days ago, at the OAS General Assembly, the United States made clear we believe this regional organization needs to take a stronger role in Haiti. That's why the United States co-sponsored a resolution to galvanize action for Haiti and complement efforts here at the UN. The resolution passed unanimously. As we have said before, an increased role for the OAS is compatible with various models of UN support under consideration. We continue to commend the efforts of BNU's team to implement its mandate, but as has been made clear in the report, the security situation is seriously hampering the mission's ability to fulfill its mandate. As such, we look forward to further discussions with members of the Council on the way forward for BNU in advance of the mandate expiration on July 15th. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative of the United States for the statement. I would now give the floor to the representative of Panama.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to echo enthusiastically in the very well merited thanks that you have expressed to Madam Burkett as her.
I thank the representative of the United States for the statement. I would now give the floor to the representative of Panama.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to echo enthusiastically in the very well merited thanks that you have expressed to Madam Burkett as her for her work as President of the Council last month. And I would also like to congratulate the representative of Pakistan and your team for assuming the responsibility of presiding over the Council during this month of July. And we give to you our solidarity and cooperation. We're very grateful to the reports presented by Mr. Miroslav Jenka, ASG for Central Asia, Americas, Departments of Political and Peacebuilding Affairs and Peace Operations, and Madam Gada Fatih Wali from UNODC. And we also would like to greet the representatives of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Kenya, and Barbados, who honor us with their presence. it would be unjust to not express particular thanks to Maria Isabel Salvador, Special Representative in Haiti, for her professional and committed work during her term. Meeting after meeting, we continue to see a progressive worsening of the situation in Haiti. We've been witness to how the gangs not only are consolidating their control over virtually all of Port-au-Prince, but also they are expanding their presence in the departments of West, Centre, and Artibonite. We are deeply concerned that in parallel to this territorial expansion, the gangs are strengthening their links with drug trafficking and other transnational organized criminal networks. This crisis, the nearest geographically to this council, continues to intensify. The reports that we receive not only confirm an increase in the frequency of violations of human rights, but also in the violence that is used to commit these acts. This year so far, these atrocities have led to the death of 4,026 people. And in 2,697 cases, there were incidents of sexual violence and gender-based violence. Also, it's been documented that there's been an increase in cases of forced recruitment of children and teenagers, and also alarming reports of organ trafficking and networks of trafficking and sexual exploitation. These figures go beyond the reports because the Haitian people are experiencing these things on a daily basis. By way of example, in order to access basic services in Haiti, including healthcare, it has become virtually impossible in a capital where only 5% of the hospitals are still functioning. The impact of this crisis also has a disproportionate effect on populations that have historically been more vulnerable, those with medical conditions, older persons, farmers, those living in the country, children and women. We are particularly concerned with regard to the situation for children, because Haiti currently is one of the most dangerous places in the world to be a girl or a boy. In this regard, we would call upon the national authorities to develop and implement protection programs that will prevent the recruitment of minors by armed groups. Also, we would urge that with the support of the international community, particularly the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti, that strategies be established for the creation of safe routes for taking them out of these situations and reintegrating them into society. President, the situation of insecurity is just getting worse. It's getting really bad. Reports of more than 101 lynchings and extrajudicial executions continue to increase. A few weeks ago, and it was painful to see, we saw an attack perpetrated by a self-defense group in a church, where, according to reports, around 50 people were murdered, and a pastor of 86 years was brutally decapitated. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated case. We are seeing a proliferation of violence where the main victims continue to be the civilian population. Moreover, to this complicated situation, we have to also add other actors such as private military companies. Although their presence has in part been a response, a desperate response to the security challenges, their action without clear regulation and given their low historical record of low coordination with humanitarian actors is a source of concern. And given the ever more delicate crisis, we would like to reiterate our support for the Multinational Security Support Mission, the MSS, led by Kenya. with limited human and economic resources, but with a great deal of commitment, they have attempted to confront the gangs and contribute to stabilizing the country. Here, in this regard, we particularly would like to welcome regional initiatives such as the recent resolution adopted by the OAS supporting security in Haiti. Nevertheless, we would reaffirm that an effective response requires political will and decisive and coordinated commitment from the United Nations Security Council. Specifically, it is fundamental that we provide support both to the MSS as well as to its trust fund. That's why we believe it's extremely urgent for this council to make progress as soon as possible in consideration and possible implementation of the Secretary-General's recommendations, particularly the one relating to the creation of a support office for the MSS. These recommendations were presented more than 4 months ago. Haiti and its people cannot wait any longer. It is not an option to continue to accumulate reports which over and over again describe the crude reality of more killings, more violations of human rights, more criminal activities and funding of violence, and a humanitarian crisis that is just getting worse day by day. The time has come to act, now. In the same way, we would issue an urgent call to member states that are able to do so to effectively implement the arms embargo as an essential measure in order to stop the uncontrolled flow of weapons that continues to feed the violence. In conclusion, President, as we work to strengthen security, it is fundamental to not lose sight of other essential pillars for stability, namely development and strengthening the social fabric in Haiti. That's why we welcome positive actions such as the progress reflected in the new constitutional draft. This not only represents institutional progress, but also includes significant improvements with regard to gender equality and reflect a renewed commitment to rights and to inclusion. In this regard, we welcome the technical and political assistance provided by the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti, BINU. Their support has been key in facilitating spaces for civic participation, promoting dialogue, and bringing forward an inclusive constitutional agenda. We also consider it a priority to maintain the commitment to hold elections as soon as the security situation allows. This will be a fundamental step for strengthening democratic institutions and being able to move towards sustainable governance. Thank you very much.
I thank the permanent representative of Panama for his statement. I would now like to give the floor to the permanent representative of Guyana.
Thank you, Mr. President. I deliver this statement on behalf of the A3+, namely Algeria, Sierra Leone, Somalia, and my own country, Guyana. We congratulate Pakistan on its assumption of the presidency of the Security Council and extend our best wishes to you for a successful presidency. We thank ASG Gensha and Ms. Wally for their briefings and welcome the participation of the representatives of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Kenya, and Barbados on behalf of CARICOM in today's meeting. We also express our appreciation to Ms. Maria Isabel Salvador for her dedicated service as Special Representative of the Secretary General for Haiti and head of BINU, and look forward to working with her successor. We also reiterate our full support for BINU and the renewal of the mission's mandate. Mr. President, each time this Council meets to discuss the situation in Haiti, we are briefed on the deteriorating situation in that sisterly country. Today, we hear once again about the worsening security and humanitarian situation. But what is even more concerning is the fact that the international response continues to be tepid at best, and falls short in matching the severity and urgency of the crisis. We remain gravely concerned by the deepening insecurity in Haiti, particularly in Port-au-Prince, where gangs continue to exert control over significant territory, undermining the rule of law and obstructing the delivery of humanitarian assistance. The limited access to health care and food is further exacerbating the suffering of the Haitian population. While we sincerely acknowledge the support provided thus far by BINU, UN agencies, and international, regional, and bilateral partners, including the OAS resolution recently adopted, we appeal for more decisive and coordinated efforts from the international community. At this critical moment, Haiti cannot be left behind. Amidst capacity constraints and a slow response from the international community, frustration and unrest are growing in Haiti. This threatens to undo the political progress achieved since the signing of the 3rd April Political Accord last year. The frustration is also reflected in the rise of vigilante and self-defense groups, which are now pervasive and undermining the government's authority. It is therefore clear that unless immediate and robust measures are taken to address the prevailing insecurity, the fragile progress achieved thus far and the work of the MSS risk being reversed. The A3+ commends the ongoing efforts to enhance weapons and ammunition management and to train and strengthen the capacities of the security forces and border control authorities. But we must do more. In the first instance, to stop the illicit flow of arms and ammunition into Haiti. We underscore the need to enhance and ensure the full implementation and enforcement of the arms embargo and other sanctions measures imposed by the Security Council, and remain prepared to expand the sanctions list. Mr. President, colleagues, last week marked 1 year since the first batch of MSS personnel arrived in Haiti. At the time, this elicited both a sense of hope and optimism among the Haitian population and within the international community. While not a UN mission, the deployment of the MSS represented a milestone for multilateralism and a firm demonstration of international solidarity. The A3+ paid tribute to Kenya for its leadership and commends all who have contributed financing, training, personnel, and equipment to the mission. Additionally, we call on those who have pledged to provide support and funding to the MSS to honor their commitments. We note that the mission is unable to effectively carry out its mandate, as envisioned in Resolution 2699, owing to a shortfall in voluntary funding. Even while operating below 40% of capacity, the mission has been able to assist the HNP in regaining control over critical infrastructure, recapturing neighborhoods, and facilitating the reopening of schools and the delivery of humanitarian aid. But the MSS would not be able to achieve its mandate when it is operating at less than 40% of its strength. This Council has requested and received options presented by the Secretary General more than 4 months ago regarding the future of the MSS mission in Haiti. The A3+ stresses again the need for the Security Council to address this matter with urgency and enable the mission with UN operational and logistical support to ensure its full deployment and for it to fully deliver on its objectives. Mr. President, even amidst the immense challenges which Haiti continues to endure, the A3+ has taken positive note of the progress made in advancing the political process. We commend the continued functioning of the transition government and institutions, even in the face of death threats and attacks by armed gangs. We have also noted the adoption of the 2025 referendum decree last week and hope that these efforts will be sustained through collective action and enhanced engagement by the relevant stakeholders. Moreover, we welcome the establishment of specialized judicial units to investigate, prosecute, and adjudicate mass crimes, including cases of sexual violence, and commend the support provided by BINU, OHCHR, and UNODC for their operationalization. We emphasize the need to scale up community violence reduction efforts and urge the Haitian authorities to identify a national agency to carry forward the work of the National Commission on Disarmament, Dismantlement, and Reintegration. Mr. President, colleagues, on the humanitarian front, we note that needs continue to outstrip resources, with soaring displacement, deportations, food insecurity, sexual and gender-based violence, recruitment of children, and a collapse of essential services, leaving millions vulnerable. Haiti is also facing its worst levels of food insecurity since the 2010 earthquake, with 5.7 million people, half of the population, currently experiencing acute food insecurity. At just 8.2% funded, the 2025 Humanitarian Needs and Response Plan is grossly underfunded and impedes the delivery of humanitarian aid. We urge the international community to increase its contributions. The A3+ also deplores the abhorrent sexual violence that continues to be committed by gangs. In just a period of 2 months, March to April, BINU has documented 364 incidents involving 378 survivors, including 348 women, 28 girls, and 2 boys. Collective rape was the most common violation, with an increase of 76%. Indeed, over 2,600 cases of sexual violence were recorded by humanitarian partners from January to April. As I conclude, Mr. President, colleagues, Algeria, Sierra Leone, Somalia, and Guyana do not believe the challenges in Haiti are intractable. In fact, the resilience, strength, and pioneering role of the Haitian people, not only for themselves, but for many others, are well documented. Haiti deserves our support now. It is time to match the expressions of concern with concrete commitments and action. The A3+, therefore, calls upon the international community to adopt a more solution-oriented approach in supporting Haiti to bolster the humanitarian response, strengthen national institutions, and address the root causes of instability in the country. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Guyana for her statement. I would now give the floor to the representative of the Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the outset, I also would like to join others in commending Guyana for its successful presidency in June. I also extend my warm congratulations to you, Mr. President, on assuming the presidency for July. My appreciation also goes to ASG Yencha, Executive Director Welly, for their comprehensive and informative briefings. The Republic of Korea remains gravely concerned about the worsening crisis in Haiti. The people of Haiti, especially women and children, continue to endure severe hardship, primarily driven by brutal gang violence. They have been left to struggle with the collapse of basic services, severe food insecurity, and internal displacement largely on their own. In their moment of need, the people of Haiti have turned to this council for support. We must respond to their urgent call. We have seen Haiti's efforts for political transition through the drafting of the revised constitutional text and the decision to establish specialized judicial units to tackle corruption, financial crimes, and the sexual violence. However, we all know that without significant improvement in security, this aspiration may ultimately come to nothing. In this regard, I would like to highlight the 3 key points. First, the Council must advance and accelerate discussions on the Secretary General's proposals and provide clear, concrete, and realistic directions for both BINU and the MSS. The Republic of Korea in principle supports the Secretary General's suggestions. However, we recognize that not all members of the Council share the same perspective. It is therefore essential to identify common ground among members and to map a way forward that reflects the collective will of this Council. As part of these efforts, we should explore how we can better leverage the existing presence and the functions of BINU to ensure an approach that is both time and cost efficient. The Republic of Korea stands ready to actively engage in these discussions. Second, concerted efforts to expand international contributions are more critical than ever. Though geographically distant, the Republic of Korea has demonstrated its commitment to the Haitian people by deploying 242 of its troops to the UN stabilization missions from 2010 to 12. This experience helped us gain a more thorough understanding of how indispensable international assistance is for Haiti. In this spirit, the Republic of Korea contributed around $10 million to the MSS Trust Fund in 2025, in the sincere hope that other member states would follow suit by providing support in their own ways. Unfortunately, that expectations has yet to be fully met. If immediate voluntary contributions from member states continue to prove difficult to mobilize, the partial use of peacekeeping assessed contributions could serve as a viable alternative. In this context, we believe the hybrid approach proposed by the Secretary General deserves serious consideration. Third, strengthening the sanctions regime is crucial. While we underscore the importance of fully implementing the arms embargo, we also believe that the designation list must be expanded to cover individuals and the entities beyond the gang leaders. Many actors remain outside the current scope, including individuals with links to the gangs and involved in criminal activities, such as arms trafficking and migrant smuggling. Mr. President, we can all agree that a Haitian-led, Haitian-owned solution is the only sustainable path forward. This will only be possible with concrete support from the international community. We therefore urge these councils to return to the spirit of unity that enabled the unanimous adoptions of 3 resolutions last year. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the Republic of Korea for his statement, and I would now like to give the floor to the permanent representative of France.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our congratulations to you, our best wishes, and our support for your presidency. And I would like to extend my thanks to the permanent representative of Guyana and her mission for the presidency last month. I'd also like to thank Assistant Secretary General Mr. Miroslav Janka and the Executive Director of UNODC, Madam Gata Fati Wali, for their informative briefings and alarming briefings about the situation in Haiti. And I welcome amongst us the presence of His Excellency, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Dominican Republic, Mr. Roberto Alvarez, and the permanent representative of Haiti, and also of Kenya and Barbados. President, the absolute priority is to restore security in Haiti. I won't go into the details about what UN officials have been saying about this, the humanitarian disaster, in addition to the major security and internal and regional crises all at the same time. Unless we restore security, there can't be progress in the political transition process. Restoring democratic institutions and the rule of law in Haiti are necessary steps in order to put an end to the multi-dimensional crisis assailing the country. This should allow for the return of the authority of the state and an end to the massive violations of human rights and international humanitarian law being suffered by the Haitian population, in particular by women and children because of the action of the gangs. It's important that the Haitian authorities be able to work together to bring forward the transition. Mr. President, strengthening international support for security in Haiti is indispensable and urgent. In this regard, three priority areas, I think, should be stressed for this Council. Firstly, greater involvement of the United Nations in restoring security. France welcomes the commitment of Kenya and other troop contributors to the multinational security support mission. Their commitment alongside the Haitian National Police is essential, and it's also very brave of them, and we recognize this effort. As underscored by President of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. William Ruto, this mission must be equipped in terms of troops and equipment in order to slow down the spread of gangs and recover territory that they control. France encourages the partners to redouble their efforts to support the mission. Efforts deployed by countries of the region, more necessary than ever before, must be part of a clear framework provided by the UN. We believe that the UN can provide strategic and operational information, and the Secretary-General has put forward recommendations in this regard, including creating a logistical support office. That was about 4 months ago. The urgency of the security and humanitarian situation means that we must absolutely make progress. This is the responsibility of this Council, and France wants to work with all members of the Council in this regard. Secondly, the use of sanctions. This is a key lever in order to fight against the gangs and the networks that support them. France supports the new US proposals for sanctions. The individual and arms sanctions must be strictly enforced, and these sanctions must be applied to individuals in particular that support and finance the gangs. And this must be accompanied by renewed efforts to fight against corruption and financial crimes. Thirdly, support for the authorities and the Haitian security forces. This support is necessary in order to help fully implement the sanctions regime and assist in increasing the capabilities of the security forces, to set up mechanisms for demobilizing gangs, and to support the strengthening of the judicial and prison systems in Haiti. In all of these areas, the Integrated Office of the UN in Haiti, which France, we reiterate, supports very much, has its full role to play. And we thank Madame Isabel Salvador for her work heading up the office. President, France is fully involved in this collective effort. We do this with emergency humanitarian assistance. We've also done this by contributing to the multinational security support mission and by providing bilateral aid to the Haitian security forces. France will continue its commitment in solidarity with the Haitian people, and once again we call upon all international partners to redouble their efforts, and we would like to advance as quickly as possible, together with all of the Council, towards a quick decision on the Secretary-General's proposals. Thank you.
I thank the Permanent Representative of France for his statement, and I would now like to give the floor to the Permanent Representative of Slovenia.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I want to join congratulations on your assumption of the presidency for the month of July. And of course, I also want to thank Guyana for their capable leadership of the Council in June. I thank ASG Yencha, as well as Director General Wally for their briefings. Upon the completion of the assignment, I wish to express Slovenia's sincere gratitude to Ms. Salvador for her dedication and exemplary leadership of BINU in the face of challenging circumstances. And finally, I wish to welcome the participation of a Foreign Minister of the Dominican Republic and the permanent representatives of Haiti, as well as Barbados and Kenya. Mr. President, regrettably, today's briefings once again highlight the deteriorating security situation and the expanding foothold of armed gangs. Reducing the territorial control of armed gangs in Port-au-Prince, and now even going beyond the capital, must be our immediate priority. And the Council must utilize all tools at its disposal to eliminate the threat posed by these groups. Slovenia stands ready to support the Secretary General's proposal to establish a UN support office, as endorsed by Haiti, CARICOM, and Kenya as the lead nation within the multinational security support mission. We believe that such a realistic and practical arrangement would enable the MSS to fully carry out its mandate and ultimately deliver for the Haitian people. Furthermore, we welcome the efforts of the Haitian authorities to implement the United Nations sanctions. And we view positively the proposals to expand the sanctions list. Only concerted action to improve the security situation by both the Council and regional efforts, in full cooperation with the Haitian authorities, can lead to sustained political progress, which is essential for establishing the framework needed for effective governance and Haiti's long-term development. BNU's continued contribution to this progress remains essential, and we fully support the renewal of its mandate. Mr. President, let me reiterate Slovenia's profound concern over deteriorating humanitarian and human rights situation, which continues to impact the most vulnerable, particularly women and children. The sharp increase in sexual and gender-based violence amid large-scale displacement and its systematic use to instill fear and control communities is simply unacceptable. We commend the recent establishment of specialized judicial units mandated to investigate and prosecute serious crimes, including sexual violence. This represents an important step toward addressing impunity for such grave violations in accordance with the rule of law. Furthermore, we are appalled by reports of the forced recruitment and use of children by gangs. We underscore the importance of developing and implementing plans for the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration of children leaving gangs to ensure their safe handover to civilian actors. Viable educational and vocational opportunities will be key to successful reintegration. In a context where half of the population faces high levels of acute food insecurity, even famine-like conditions, and hospitals and health centers are on the brink of collapse, we call for immediate, full, safe, and unhindered humanitarian access. Colleagues, we must do more, or in the words of Guyana and A3, we need a solution-oriented approach to alleviate the suffering of the Haitian people and support them on their path toward peace, security, stability, and economic recovery. Thank you.
Thank the permanent representative of Slovenia for his statement, and I would now give the floor to the representative of China.
President, I would like to congratulate Pakistan on its assumption of the presidency of the Council for this month. The Chinese delegation will extend its full and complete cooperation to you and your colleagues. I also commend Guyana for its work as president last month. I thank ASG Yencha Executive Director Wali for their briefings and welcome among us the Foreign Minister of Dominican Republic and the representatives of Haiti, Kenya, and Barbados. President, the assassination and death of former President Moïse 4 years ago unleashed a new cycle of chaos and suffering in Haiti. Over the past 4 years, the persistent political stalemate in Haiti, governance mired in a vacuum, rising gang violence, increasingly dire humanitarian situation, and the convergence of multiple crises have subjected the Haitian people to immeasurable sufferings. We support the Haitian authorities, the regional countries, and the international community in focusing on the root causes of the problems, drawing lessons learned, and making joint efforts to resolve the complex and serious challenges facing Haiti. I would like to highlight the following points. First, advancing the political process lays an important foundation. A legitimate, effective, and accountable government is the key to getting Haiti out of the chaos, and it is also a prerequisite for external support to be effective. Multiple reports of the SG have pointed out that the fragility of the political structure and the lack of state authority have not only seriously undermined the trust and confidence of the Haitian people in the authorities, but have also provided an opportunity for gang violence. To address the current crisis, Haitian parties and factions must strengthen their unity, effectively advance a Haitian-led and owned political process, prioritize the interests of the country and its people, build the broadest possible consensus on maintaining security and promoting development, and formulate a comprehensive and long-term strategy that is effective. We reiterate our call on all Haitian parties to take actions in this regard and be responsible. We call on BNUL, CARICOM, among others, to continue to assist in promoting the political process in Haiti. Second, improving the security situation is an urgent task. China expresses deep concern over the rampant violence in Haiti and feels deeply saddened by great sufferings of the innocent people. Over the past year, Kenya has led the MSS mission, together with some CARICOM countries, to help improve the security situation in Haiti. We highly appreciate this and call on the proponent, donor of the MSS, especially the major country that bears the primary responsibility for the situation in Haiti, to fulfill its commitment, play its role, and live up to the expectations of the Haitian people as to how to improve the security situation in Haiti as soon as possible, including how to respond to the relevant recommendations of the SG. We are ready to maintain frank communication with all parties, explore feasible options, and seek the widest possible consensus. Third, strengthening sanctions implementation is the top priority. We support a greater role of the Council's sanctions regime and agree to list more gang leaders. Meanwhile, the reports of the UNODC and the panels of experts of the Sanctions Committee indicate that a large number of weapons and ammunition continues to flow into Haiti from the U.S. The effective implementation of the Council's arms embargo and the cutoff of gangs' sources of arms and ammunition are urgent. Since the beginning of this year, the China-UN Fund for Peace and Development has funded a UNODC project on arms embargo in Haiti, supporting the Haitian authorities to strengthen weapons registration and management and help regional countries to strengthen information exchange and capacity building. We are ready to continue to work with UNODC, the Sanctions Committee, and other parties to advance the early implementation of sanctions measures so as to effectively deter gangs. Fourth, improving people's livelihood is the fundamental solution. As a result of Haiti's economic downturn and soaring prices, half of the population suffer from food insecurity. A large number of people have been displaced, and women, children, and other vulnerable groups are bearing the brunt. We support the efforts of the UN agencies and international regional partners to scale up assistance to Haiti and help the Haitian people overcome the difficulties. The SG's report notes that due to poverty, hunger, and the collapse of the educational and social service system, a large number of children as young as 8 years old have been forced to join the gangs. The international community must pay attention to the root causes of Haiti's chronic instability and gang violence, strive to transform foreign aid into Haiti's capacity for independent development, and take measures to break the vicious cycle of poverty and violence. President, the regional countries are geographically close to Haiti with shared interests. For some time now, CARICOM and OAS have prioritized their issue of Haiti on their agenda and have taken active action in political mediation and resource coordination. China appreciates the solidarity of the regional countries and their increased support for Haiti. At the same time, we call on the UN and the international community to continue to help Haiti in a responsible, constructive, and sustainable manner. We highly appreciate SRSG Salvador's leadership of BNUL in Haiti over the past 2 years. We are ready to continue to support BNUL to effectively deliver its mandate, and we support the role of the UN country team. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize or reiterate that China is ready to continue to work with the international community to play a constructive role in helping the Haitian people emerge from their plight at an early date and to realize peace, stability, and development. I thank you, President.
I thank the representative of China for his statement and would now give the floor to the representative of Denmark.
Thank you, Mr. President. And allow me to begin by congratulating Pakistan for assuming the presidency and also to express our sincere appreciation to Guyana for the smooth conduct of the presidency last month. I also wish to thank ASG Genta and UNODC Director Wally for their briefings today. Mr. President, Haiti continues to experience a multitude of spiraling crises, and its civilians continue to pay the heavy price of insecurity and lawlessness. Allow me to make 3 points. First, the devastating humanitarian and human rights situation in Haiti cannot be overstated. We continue to witness a rapid deterioration across all metrics. This year has seen a rapid rise in internally displaced people, reaching 1.3 million due to the spread of gang violence and exacerbated by forced returns. Haiti is one of 5 countries in the world with famine-like conditions, with more than half of the population facing acute food insecurity. 6 months into 2025, Haiti's humanitarian response plan is funded at a dismal 8%. Violations of human rights are widespread. According to the recent Secretary General's report on children and armed conflict, grave violations against children have increased by 490%. This is both staggering and heartbreaking. We condemn in the strongest terms all violations against children and call on the security forces and armed gangs to facilitate safe, timely, and unimpeded humanitarian access. Denmark strongly supports all efforts to further disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration, and community violence reduction, especially with a focus on youth. Facilitating children and young people's safe exit from gangs, their reintegration into the community, and their empowerment as peace builders will be instrumental for Haiti's future development. The last few months has also seen a large spike in sexual and gender-based violence against women and girls, with rape taking up half of all reported cases. Without additional resources, the most vulnerable will continue to suffer. We call on the international community to urgently scale up humanitarian funding to provide assistance to those in desperate need. Second, Mr. President, as made so painfully clear, establishing security, law, and order is critical to progress on all other fronts. Let me underscore Denmark's appreciation for the efforts made by Kenya in leading the international response to establish security in Haiti. Denmark strongly supports the multinational security support mission, and we have recently deposited our $1.5 million donation to the MSS Trust Fund. However, in the face of deteriorating security, we believe there must be greater UN involvement in Haiti. Denmark believes this Council should urgently consider the recommendations put forward in the Secretary General's letter on 24th February to enable the MSS mission to meet the scale of threat and complexity on the ground. Greater use and implementation of UN sanctions and the arms embargo to target criminals prospering from Haiti's insecurity is also critical. Finally, Mr. President, Denmark welcomes the steps made by Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council to progress the political transition. The drafting of a revised constitutional text based on broad national consultations is an important step. With less than 8 months left in the roadmap to restore democratic institutions, we strongly urge the TPC, Prime Minister, and key stakeholders to accelerate their work and prioritize establishing security. Now more than ever, BNU's advisory role to the Haitian government on key areas including justice reform, accountability, elections, and promoting political stability, is vital. All aspects are undeniably interconnected. We look forward to working with Council members on BNU's timely renewal. Let me conclude by thanking SISG Salvador for her service to the UN and the people of Haiti. Thank you.
Thank the representative of Denmark for her statement. I would now like to give the floor to the permanent representative of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, first of all, we would like to thank Guyana for flawless presidency of the Security Council in June, and I'm sure that at the same time we will be saying in August at the end of the Pakistani presidency, and we wish you every success in the meantime. We would like to thank the Assistant Secretary General, Mr. Yencha, and the Executive Director, Gadawadi, for their reports on the situation in Haiti. And we welcome the participation in our meeting today on the part of the Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Dominican Republic, Mr. Roberto Alvarez Gil, and the representative of Haiti, Kenya, and Barbados. Mr. President, the 7th of July will mark 4 years since the tragic assassination of President Jovenel Moïse, the event which served as a trigger which plunged the country into deepest crisis in its modern history. It's been 4 years, and we still do not have a clear picture of what happened, nor do we have a certainty about who is behind the killing, who benefited from it. There is no certainty about it in Haiti or within the international community. The crime itself and the way it was investigated encapsulates the problem of this long-suffering country. It includes external interference, the inaction of the authorities, intimidation of the judges, the escape of the suspects, and even the frequent change of premises and moving hearings because the gangs are moving into new areas of the capital of Haiti. The absence of clear outcome of the investigation and punishing the perpetrators became a symbol of lawlessness for the Haitians, which permeates the whole society. The multidimensional crisis in the country threatens the very integrity of the Haitian state. It has been long devoid of democratically elected representatives, and the transitional institutions, despite the measures they undertake, cannot gain the trust of society or ensure that the country moves back to the constitutional path of development. Plans to conduct a constitutional referendum and general elections by February 2026 look increasingly less realistic. It is clear that when the state loses control of its territory, chaos reigns, and the organized crime comes to rule the day. In a number of areas of the capital and the Artibonite department, the gangs basically established a parallel system of governance, where instead of laws, you have lawlessness, and instead of justice, you have executions and torture. Instead of taxes, extortion and fear is their main instrument of control over people. The UN, under these conditions, can only register the progressive deterioration of security situation, including the growing number of killings, sexual violence, a record number of IDPs, and those who need humanitarian assistance. Mr. President, Russia has consistently held the position that determining the strategy and the implementing the plan to resolve the issues in Haiti is first and foremost the responsibility of the authorities and people of the country. At the same time, active international cooperation, in particular in security area, is needed by Port-au-Prince now more than ever. Unfortunately, the current instruments of international support do not work the way they should. The multinational security support mission in Haiti encountered all the difficulties that we predicted before it started working because of the poorly thought-through mechanism of financial, personnel, and material technical supplies of this non-UN operation. The Secretary General provided sensible ideas on how to strengthen the potential of MSS, and we are ready to consider them constructively. At the same time, we underscore, and the Secretary General said it too, that the priority right now should be the increase of voluntary funding for the MSS. The donor countries which promoted this initiative, who stated that this is a panacea, have to honor their financial obligations. We are convinced that provided there is the needed resources and the contingent needed, the multinational forces can still become a powerful factor to stabilize the situation in the country. Otherwise, the MSS will become yet one other mechanism which did not live up to its potential, and this will not look honorable on behalf of the Security Council, first and foremost vis-à-vis Kenya, who honorably delivered on its commitment and came to assist the brotherly people of Haiti. We note in this context that there is growing desire of the regionals to lend a helping hand. The recent decision at the OAS Assembly, the recent resolution, shows that the countries of the continent intend to help MSS and help also with the long-term stabilization of Haiti as a whole. When it comes to the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti, whose mandate ends in a couple of weeks, the efforts of that SPM, of course, remain needed. We note the work that's being done to adapt the modalities of the office in such a way to make sure that through lower numbers but better protection of staff in Port-au-Prince, implement the key task of the mission to promote the political dialogue and assist the authorities in Haiti. And in this context, we would like to thank the head of BINU, Maria Salvador, for her for her work, whose mandate ran out this week. Mr. President, currently the volume of international support for Port-au-Prince is insufficient, and Haitians are trying against this background to find their own solution to the catastrophic situation. They're using all the options have, including contracts with foreign military companies and security companies. Despite our understanding of the level of desperation behind this, we would like to express a concern having to do with including foreign armed actors whose activity is not regulated and is frequently associated with human rights violations and international sanctions. We're particularly concerned by the random use of drones with live charges in urban areas and the participation of foreign companies in arms trafficking. Instead of participating in the smuggling and in attempts to profit from the attractive security market in Haiti, the state responsible for the lion's share of arms supplies to the island should be more decisive in complying with the Security Council embargo they introduced. For as long as the gangs in Haiti have an unfettered access to weapons and ammunition of any caliber, stopping the spread of crime in the country and stopping the security threat it represents for the whole region will be virtually impossible. I thank you.
I thank the permanent representative of the Russian Federation for his statement, and now give the floor to the permanent representative of Greece.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to congratulate you and Pakistan for assuming the presidency of the Security Council of the month of July, and thank Guyana for the successful tenure of the presidency of last June. Allow me also to thank ASG Gencha and UNODC Executive Director Wally for the briefings. I also welcome the presence of His Excellency Mr. Roberto Alvarez Gil, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Dominican Republic, as well as of the permanent representative of Haiti, Kenya, and Barbados to our meeting. Mr. President, regrettably, the security situation in Haiti remains alarming. We note the rise in gang violence, exacerbated by the growing popularity of self-defense groups, which challenge police presence in their territories and try to undermine the legitimacy of the Transitional Presidential Council. The presence of private security companies further complicates the security conditions on the ground due to the lack of regulatory oversight. Allow me to make the following 3 points. First, the political transition and the peaceful holding of elections in Haiti are contingent upon the restoration of security. We continue to support the Multinational Security Support Mission as the most appropriate tool to tackle gang violence, provided it is fully deployed and adequately financed. We commend Kenya for its leadership and the contributing countries for the support to the Haitian National Police, and acknowledge that they cannot continue shouldering this burden on their own. The Secretary General's recommendation on providing the MSS with UN logistical and operational support appear to provide a way forward for tackling the security impasse, especially given the positive reactions by the Haitian authorities and regional stakeholders, particularly CARICOM and the Organization of American States. In this vein, we welcome the resolution adopted by the OAS last week that signals the organization's readiness to provide additional support to Haiti. In order to tackle gang violence, it is also imperative to control criminal activity in Haiti, such as illicit arms and drug trafficking. Strict border and port controls are essential in this regard. We commend UNODC for the training it has provided to the Haitian Coast Guard during the reporting period. The strict implementation of the arms embargo and the sanction regime are also of paramount importance. We remain ready to consider additional measures on individuals and gangs, as well as on the supporting networks that might be based outside Haiti. Second, the fact that children constitute 30 to 50% of gang members is simply abhorrent. As highlighted in the Secretary General's latest report on children in armed conflict, there was a staggering 490% increase in grave violations against Haitian children in 2024. We urge for the immediate cessation of the recruitment and use of children by gangs. We support the swift establishment of the new Commission on Disarmament, Dismantlement and Reintegration by the Haitian authorities, as well as a further implementation of community violence reduction measures with a particular focus on education and socio-economic opportunities. Third, we cannot overlook the progress that has been achieved in the political process, particularly the drafting of the revised constitutional text, which includes strong human rights provisions and increased quotas for women's participation in public offices, rising from 30 to 40%. Alarmed by the rising violence of sexual and gender-based violence, we are also commend the establishment of specialized judicial units mandated to prosecute such crimes. This could have a significant impact on ending impunity. Mr. President, in closing, let me stress that Greece supports an inclusive and sustainable Haitian-led and Haitian-owned political transition. We urge the Haitian authorities to promote good governance and accountability and prioritize the fight against corruption. In this framework, we acknowledge the invaluable contribution of BNUH and support the renewal of its strong mandate later this month, and thank and commend SRSG Mrs. Salvador for her overall work and dedication to the benefit of Haiti and its people. I thank you.
I thank the permanent representative of Greece for his statement and would now like to give the floor to the representative of the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Mr. President, and congratulations to Pakistan on assuming the presidency. We thank Assistant Secretary General Yencha and Executive Director Wali for their briefings. We also thank Special Representative Salvador as she finishes her role for her service and her tireless efforts to restore stability in Haiti. And we welcome Foreign Minister of the Dominican Republic and the PRs from Haiti, Kenya, and Barbados to this chamber. Mr. President, the UK condemns without reservation the violence that continues to undermine efforts to restore democratic rule in Haiti. Coordinated gang attacks on civilian communities, public buildings, and the security services continue to destabilize the Haitian state. The gang's use of sexual and gender-based violence as a tool to control the population is abhorrent. We stand with the survivors, and we fully support efforts by BNU and OHCHR to strengthen law enforcement efforts to bring the perpetrators to justice. The international community, including this Council, need to support the Haitian government's efforts to re-establish security and stability. We thank the penholders for their efforts, and we stand ready to renew the mandate of the Special Political Mission to Haiti. It is clear that more is needed, and the Haitian security forces and the Multinational Security Support Mission should be adequately supported in order to stabilize the security situation. The UK pays tribute to Kenya for its continued leadership of the MSS mission in support of the Haitian police. It is important now for this Council to agree a process to consider the Secretary-General's recommendations to deliver enhanced UN security support to Haiti as a matter of urgency. This action must be matched by Haitian efforts to advance the restoration of democratic rule. We note the recent publication of decrees to facilitate constitutional reform and the establishment of an electoral framework. This is a positive step. But more action is needed to lay the groundwork for inclusive and credible elections. We recognize the complex security environment and the considerable pressures facing the Transitional Presidential Council, and we encourage Haitian authorities to continue this work while prioritizing security and justice efforts to stabilize the country. The UK firmly rejects those seeking to undermine such a transition and is committed to maintaining accountability, including through the implementation of sanctions on those who seek to destabilize Haiti. Mr. President, the people of Haiti deserve stability and a lasting peace. Collectively, we must find a way to deliver that. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the United Kingdom for his statement. I shall now make a statement in my capacity as the representative of Pakistan. I would like to start by echoing my colleagues in commending Guyana for guiding the work of this Council in an astute, professional, and purposeful manner under the able stewardship of Ambassador Caroline Rodriguez Beckett. We thank ASG Jancha and UNODC Executive Director, Madam Wali, for their frank and sobering briefings. We also commend the dedicated services of outgoing SRSG Maria Salvador in advancing BINU's vital work. We welcome Mr. Carlos Ruiz Macio as the new SRSG and assure him of our full support. Pakistan welcomes the participation of the Foreign Minister of the Dominican Republic and the representatives of Haiti, Kenya, and Barbados in today's meeting. We commend Kenya's courageous leadership and tangible contributions to peace and stability in Haiti in face of the daunting challenges in that country. We also appreciate other nations, including Guatemala, El Salvador, Jamaica, Bahamas, and Belize, that are participating in the MSS. Pakistan remains deeply concerned by Haiti's rapid slide into chaos marked by rampant gang violence, unchecked vigilantism, and a worsening humanitarian situation. The Secretary General's reports and the stark warnings that we heard today paint a grim reality and the possible grave consequences of this crisis. The gang's stranglehold has turned Haiti's streets into battlegrounds. Vigilante killings are on the rise, children are being recruited by armed groups, and the economic collapse and breakdown of basic services subjecting hundreds of thousands of Haitians to live in fear and face acute food shortages. The Council has discussed Haiti's plight time and again, but words alone will not stop the bloodshed or feed the starving. The time for half measures is over. We must act decisively, collectively, and now, before Haiti's suffering becomes irreversible. In this regard, we wish to underscore 4 key points. First, the Haitian state must be supported to reclaim its authority. Gangs cannot be allowed to hold the entire nation hostage. Every day, without decisive security action, deepens the abyss and further erodes Haitian people's faith in their future. Second, Haiti's stability also requires political unity and responsible leadership that promotes national consensus and charts a common path to recovery within the imperative of a Haitian-led and owned process. Third, this Council must ensure that the multinational security support mission is robust, well-resourced, and effective, while also helping build Haiti's police, justice, and governance capacity for the long term. This is the only viable path forward. Anything less risks a collective failure. As ASG Jancha noted, without additional support for the MSS, the outlook is bleak. The Secretary General's proposals submitted to this Council on 24th of February provide a realistic and practical starting point for Council's action. Fourth, regional actors have a vital role to play. We welcome the OAS resolution and CARICOM's continued engagement in Haiti. But while regional efforts reinforce the international community's response, they cannot replace the Council's primary responsibility to act decisively to help Haiti regain stability. The Council must respond to the strong, unanimous calls for action from Haiti and the region. It is evident that besides the political and security issues, Haiti's challenges also include underlying long-standing socioeconomic and development issues that necessitate a holistic approach for durable peace and stability in Haiti. To conclude, the people of Haiti deserve to live in peace and dignity, free from fear and want. Collective, courageous, and timely action is needed now. Pakistan stands ready to play its part in forging consensus within the Council including on the Secretary General's recommendations to help deliver security and hope to the people of Haiti. I now resume my function as the President of the Council, and I would now like to give the floor to the representative of Haiti.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the Republic of Haiti welcomes the Pakistani presidency of the Security Council, and we wish you every success as you steer the deliberations of this body during such a complicated period of international life. My delegation also welcomes the presence here of the Assistant Secretary General Yencha and the Executive Director Wali, and we thank them for their briefings. I would also like to thank the representative of the Secretary General, head of BNU in Haiti, Ms. Salvador, whose mission is nearing its end. We wish her well upon her departure after having accomplished remarkable work in a difficult environment. The Republic of Haiti completely endorses, without any reservations, the statement made by the distinguished colleague from Guyana, Ms. Caroline Rodriguez-Beckett. The statement made by her on behalf of CARICOM. To be perfectly honest, we appreciate all of the statements made by the members of this council this morning on the issue of Haiti. And now I would like to put forward some general considerations and try to outline some perspectives. For a number of years now, the question concerning Haiti has become almost a ritual within the Security Council, where what we have is a Secretary General's report on the situation of the country. It is presented. It's then followed by statements made by members of the Council and others, actors involved, including, of course, my own country. And I want to bring into questions the rules and the mechanisms under which this important body within the UN functions. Nonetheless, there is a legitimate question that can be put about the outcome arrived at so far. How can it be that every year we talk about the same situation without major advances? And this kind of proceeding can certainly lead to a certain fatigue within the Haitian people. And every meeting of the Security Council, on the other hand, a great deal of hope arises amongst the Haitians. We think, Mr. President, that we need to have realistic and measurable objectives to make sure that such meetings have meaning. Because being a member of Security Council is not a privilege, it's a responsibility. At times, lives of millions of people in the world depend on the meeting of the Council, and that is the case for the people of Haiti. Therefore, you need to have a very close and vigilant eye on what is happening in the world and to provide elements of response when there is need. When you look at the map of the world and you look at various situations, crises which threaten international peace and security, you will see that the situation in Haiti can be represented by a small red dot in the Americas. And this is a situation that has been going on for many years. So one can legitimately ask oneself, how is this possible? By putting these questions, we are not trying to minimize the responsibility of my own country in trying to find a viable and lasting solution to this multidimensional crisis which holds back the social, economic, and political development of my country. Haiti is the main actor in the management of this crisis. We are responsible. We, the Haitians, are responsible here. It's up to us, and to the leaders of the country to find ways and means of getting ourselves out of this quagmire, of course, with assistance from the international community. And it is only thereafter, after we have shouldered our responsibilities, that the international community will really be able to accompany us. And in this context, we have to recognize that in certain cases, we have not been sufficiently far-reaching and ambitious in our efforts, and we did not rise up always to our responsibilities. On the eve of the renewal of the BINU mandate and towards the end of the MSS mandate, we should have in front of us clear and realistic prospects. And to a certain extent, our friends in Kenya and MSS, we thank them for having shouldered responsibility for us, but they haven't received the assistance to which they had the right and which they expected. And this regard, the proposals put forward by the Secretary General in his letter of 24th February has relevant elements as regards a role that could be played by the international community. And two successive presidents of the Transitional Presidential Council, and I'm referring here to Messrs. Leslie Voltaire and Fritz Alphonse Jean, both of them have officially expressed the support of the Haitian government to these proposals. More specifically, we support the establishment of the United Nations Support Office for MSS so that much more robust support can be provided to the mission. In the same line of ideas, we support the renewal of BINU in Haiti, but its mandate has to be beefed up in the following areas: the issue of disarmament and the reintegration of children and the young people who had been recruited by gangs, to make sure that they can recover their place within society without being discriminated against. In this context, a DDR component needs to be added to BINU, the special dimension for the reintegration and the protection of children, to strengthen the education, health, and nutrition services. When it comes to the justice system, we advocate for strong support to BINU so that they can help strengthen our justice system, in particular when it comes to the capacity to handle the cases of major criminals and the many sanctions individuals. The penitentiary system. Now, we support the idea according to which BINU can help may secure our places of detention where major criminals and their allies are being held. In actual fact, the gangs have destroyed the major penitentiary establishments in the capitals. And we need to build a great number of hospitals and medical dispensaries and schools and prisons. Now, moving on to the sanctions regime, we expect strong support from BINU, allowing for a better ownership by the Haitian justice of the sanctions regime, in particular through border control, so as to limit the supplies of weapons and munitions which are being used by the gangs. And finally, we urge BINU to improve its communication in Haiti regarding its mandate, so that its role is better known and understood by the Haitian society. To conclude, I would like to welcome very much here the presence of my colleague from Kenya and my friend from Barbados. I'm very happy to see you here. And of the Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Dominican Republic. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
I would like to thank the permanent representative of Haiti for his statement, and I would now like to give the floor to His Excellency, Mr. Roberto Alvarez Gil, Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Dominican Republic. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. Miroslav Jenka, Assistant Secretary General, Madam Gadawali, Executive Director, UNODC, representatives, members of the Council, and the representatives of Haiti, Kenya, and Barbados on behalf of CARICOM. We would like to congratulate the Islamic Republic of Pakistan for presiding over the Council during the month of July, and we wish you every success in your work. And our sincere thanks to the permanent representative of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Her Excellency Caroline Rodriguez-Burkett, for her effective presiding of the Council during the month of June, and for having effectively, on behalf of the A3+, and with the active participation of Panama, ensured an agenda that restored the centrality of Haiti to the work of this Council, an issue of high priority for our region. To Maria Isabel Salvador, we would like to give you our heartfelt thanks for your dedication and efforts during your term. President, the situation in Haiti is completely unambiguous. This is my 16th appearance before this Council to deal with the crisis assailing this country, and the serious effects do affect my country. My constant presence here is a demonstration of the importance that the Dominican government and the Dominican people give to this dramatic situation which is afflicting the Haitian people and which continues unabated to spill beyond its borders. The recent report of the Secretary General on Haiti is crystal clear. The country is facing an accelerated human, institutional, and security collapse, with more than 80% of Port-au-Prince controlled by armed gangs. 1.6 million people have been internally displaced. 1,600 schools have been closed. 360 acts of gender-based violence in the first 5 months of the year, few hospitals still operating, a judicial system in total paralysis, alarming levels of sexual violence, and a child population converted into targets and weapons of war. These figures give you a rough picture of the huge human suffering that is being generated in the country, leading to an unbearable migration, economic and social pressure on the Dominican Republic, more than on any country in the region. Terrorist organizations such as Viv and Sam and Grand Grif and other criminal networks control neighborhoods, ports and trade routes, using drones and sophisticated weaponry. They have overcome the authorities and they exercise systematic violence over the Haitian people, particularly against women, girls, boys, journalists, and human rights defenders, using methods such as decapitations, terrifying public executions, and blood-curdling sexual violence. The report of the Secretary General that we've referred to is lucid and clear. The international community must act urgently, coherently, and boldly. The Dominican Republic has expressed its view many times on this reality. At the beginning of June, President Luis Abinader, together with 3 former presidents of the Dominican Republic, Leonel Fernandez, Hipólito Mejía, and Danilo Medina, addressed a letter to every head of state and government of the member states making up this council, urging you to act without delay. This unprecedented action, example of national unity, reflects the conviction of the Dominican leadership with regard to the current grave situation. Equally concerned, the President of Kenya, William Ruto, addressed to this Council a letter appealing for its to ensure its historic responsibility. Both letters converge around the same thing. They're saying that the clock has run out and the time has come to fulfill the mandate of Resolution 2699. The Dominican Republic believes that the support of the United Nations to Haiti in this crisis is based on three fundamental pillars. Firstly, the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti, BINU. Secondly, the regimen of sanctions and the arms embargo established pursuant to Resolution 2653. And thirdly, the Multinational Security Support Mission established pursuant to Resolution 2699. The various elements of this tripartite approach have received unanimous support on the American continent. A few days ago, during the and this was referred to by several speakers this morning, during the 55th Assembly of the Organization of American States, held in Antigua and Barbuda, a resolution was approved calling for consideration of all United Nations options to bring about peace and stability in Haiti, including the Secretary General's proposal, Secretary General Antonio Guterres, of the 24th of February. A couple of weeks prior to that, on the 13th of June, at the Brazil-Caribbean Summit, the 17 Caribbean island nations and Brazil issued a joint communique where they took note of the proposal of the Secretary General and called upon the United Nations to, and I quote, play a central leadership role in the response to the serious challenges, security challenges facing Haiti, end of quotation. The Dominican Republic fully supports the renewal of BINU's mandate and the proposal for an office to take on operative and logistical tasks so that it can more effectively support the MSS. This proposal is urgent, given that the MSS continues to be underfunded, it is facing logistical challenges, and it still lacks the scope that the context requires. And this morning, various speakers have referred to this. We call upon member states of this Council to urgently welcome this hybrid model because it's the most effective way in the current circumstances to provide the MSS with logistical stability so that it can be operationally effective and so that it can have a precise and feasible plan of action. The Dominican Republic continues to work to the best of and cooperate to the best of our abilities, funding medical care and evacuations for the MSS, with a diplomatic offensive to promote this initiative, and with a number of other national measures to combat arms trafficking and trafficking in persons. We have formally designated Viv and Sam, Grand Grif, and the main gangs as terrorist organizations, as has the United States. Today, we call upon this Council to act in unison, including with regard to the sanctions regime established pursuant to Resolution 2653, act in consonance with regard to the leaders of these organizations, as well as the individuals, corporations, and organizations that provide them substantial financial support, logistical support, and weapons. They share responsibility in undermining peace and security in the region. President, in these complex times for this organization and for the world, given the multiple conflicts and wars which defy the capacity for action of the international community, the world is crying out more than ever before for a signal of unity and hope. Haiti could be one of the points of departure for the United Nations to be able, together with the Haitian people, to construct a way out of this protracted crisis, not in order to impose a vision, but in order to build it together with the Haitian people. Colleagues, the political and institutional crisis in Haiti is just as serious as the humanitarian and security aspects. In just 7 months, on the 7th of February next, the Presidential Transitional Council must give up power in accordance with its constitutive document. It doesn't seem feasible, given the security situation and the political division in Haiti, that the deadlines can be met for the holding of elections, which include a constitutional referendum. Without entering into domestic aspects of Haitian policy, we must call upon the leadership of this neighboring country to promote a renewed moral and political compact based on the well-being of its people. This is the necessary counterpart in order to ensure effective assistance from the international community. President, renewing BNU's mandate and strengthening the multinational security support mission is not just an operational necessity. It is a reaffirmation of the credibility of this organization and an act in consistency with the principles which underpin it. It is, above all, an act of justice for the Haitian people. What we do or fail to do for Haiti will determine the legacy of this council. Thank you.
I would like to thank His Excellency Foreign Minister Alvarez Gil for his statement and for his presence. I would now like to give the floor to the distinguished representative of Kenya.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to congratulate Pakistan for assumption of presidency of the Security Council for the month of July, and also thank Guyana for the successful presidency in the month of June. I'd also like to thank Mr. Milosav Chensa for the comprehensive brief on the current situation in Haiti that underscores the invaluable contribution made by the MSS mission working in support of the Haitian National Police, as well as the important role played by PNU in the efforts to stabilize Haiti. In this respect, I applaud Madame Isabella Salvador, the outgoing head of PNU, for the commendable work that she did during her tenure, notwithstanding the difficult circumstances. Thank you to the representative of UNODC for the frank and candid brief on the dangers posed by the criminal gangs to Haiti and the entire Caribbean region. I acknowledge with gratitude the participation of the Foreign Minister of the Dominican Republic and the permanent representatives of Haiti and Barbados. Kenya acknowledges with gratitude compliments expressed by all the Council members in this session on Kenya's leadership in the MSS mission in Haiti. Mr. President, I commend the Security Council for the continued commitment to the efforts to find sustainable solutions to the difficulties that the people of Haiti have endured for long. We believe your commitment reaffirms the international community's determination to assist Haitian people to resolve the complex challenges facing the country. Mr. President, on the 25th June 2025, we marked 1 year since Kenya exercising our lead role to the MSS deployed the first contingent of the multinational security support mission in Haiti. Subsequent deployment have to date brought the number to 991, with Kenya contributing 735, Guatemala 150, El Salvador 78, Jamaica 25, and the Bahamas 3. These numbers fall considerably short of what the UN Security Council approved of 2,500 as envisaged under the concept of operations. Nevertheless, even with the severe personnel and other logistical constraints, the MSS has made significant and commendable progress in stabilizing key areas of Haiti. We have a government in place, schools and hospitals have been reopened, security of key installations and critical infrastructure that include the Presidential Palace, Port-au-Prince International Airport, and the main seaport, including other main supply routes, are a testament to the professionalism, bravery, as well as courage of the MSS and HNP personnel. Even with the said gains, the trust fund currently, with $52 million unallocated, the multinational security support mission remains underfunded and under-equipped, and hence operating at less than 30% of its expected capacity. This exposes the mission to serious risks and vulnerabilities around sustainability towards achieving the desired end state of realizing the UN Security Council Resolution 2699. Therefore, going by the foregoing, the successful deployment and continued operation of the mission requires substantial resources. While we deeply appreciate the invaluable direct support to the mission by key partners, such as the United States, as well as donors to the UN Trust Fund, much remains to be done to enable the MSS overcome the severe personnel and other logistical constraints, including the required operational air and maritime support elements. The mission also requires urgent operationalization of the planned forward operating bases, which as of now, only 3 have been established. These were intended to serve as advanced bases for operational planning and to secure neighborhood liberated from gun control, unlike the current practice where the MSS and HNP personnel must consistently return to their main operational bases, leaving those neighborhoods vulnerable to renewed gang infiltration. The commendable sustained engagement of the United Nations Security Council culminated in the request to the UN Secretary General for a comprehensive assessment of the situation in Haiti and the potential options for enhanced UN involvement. Kenya fully welcomes this initiative, and there's a subsequent report submitted to the Security Council in February 2025 that presents clear, actionable recommendations aimed at strengthening the mission's operational effectiveness and ensuring its long-term sustainability. Kenya, as a lead nation of the MSS, welcomes the deliberations held on June 30th on the Secretary General's report and urges for sustained coordinated actions as well as unity of purpose by members of the UN Security Council. It is imperative that this discussion leads to clear, actionable guidance on the future of the MSS, as such direction is essential for Kenya and the fellow participating nations to make informed decisions regarding the continuation of their commitments and the broader trajectory towards sustainable peace in Haiti. As we wait for the outcome of the ongoing engagement regarding the Secretary General's report, we call upon the international community to remain steadfastly focused on the needs and aspirations of the Haitian people who rightfully deserve the security, stability, and hope of a beautiful future. I must reiterate that while the MSS is a critical and innovative intervention, it is only part of the solution. Haiti's stability will only be accomplished through a multi-pronged approach that addresses the root causes of its challenges. The MSS will therefore continue to coordinate and work closely with BINU, the UN country team, and the Haitian government as they align their efforts to achieve improving security and political situation. Kenya called for the continued and rigorous implementation of the sanctions regime adopted by this Council by all relevant member states in order to curb the flow of weapons to gangs as well as achieving the envisaged key success factors. This is a complementary and crucial component of all efforts aimed at restoring sustainable peace and stability in Haiti. Finally, I reaffirm that Kenya has remained steadfast in its solidarity with the Haitian people and stands ready to engage constructively with all partners in advancing a comprehensive, well-resourced, and coordinated international response to support Haiti's pursuit of peace, stability, and democratic governance. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the distinguished representative of Kenya for his statement and would now give the floor to the permanent representative of Barbados.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me the floor. Let me wish you and your delegation all the best for the presidency of this month. I have the honor to deliver this intervention on behalf of the 14 member states of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM. I begin by welcoming the comprehensive briefings provided by ASG Gensha and Executive Director Wali this morning. Excellencies, CARICOM remains deeply concerned about the deteriorating situation in Haiti. Approximately 6 million people remain in need of humanitarian assistance and protection in 2025. The number of internally displaced persons has reached nearly 1.3 million, a staggering 24% increase compared to December of 2024. Violence continues unabated as criminal gangs expand their foothold, further undermining the safety, stability, and future of Haiti. Alarmingly, as has been noted already today, Haiti remains one of only 5 countries worldwide with people living in famine-like conditions or confronted with catastrophic levels of acute food insecurity. We call on the international community to redouble its efforts to provide the required humanitarian assistance. On the political front, CARICOM urges Haiti's national authorities to persist in working with all stakeholders to advance the transition process. We underscore the significance of holding a constitutional referendum and elections as soon as possible. Equally vital, however, is ensuring that the political transition is inclusive, deliberate, and sustainable, so that the gains made along the way are tangible and enduring. As such, Haiti must remain a priority for the international community, and all stakeholders must continue to offer their coordinated support in line with the priorities, needs, and ambitions of the Haitian people. Excellencies, CARICOM commends the United Nations Integrated Office in Haiti, BINU, for its sustained support to the people of Haiti amid considerable security, humanitarian, and political challenges. And we take this opportunity to express our appreciation to outgoing SRSG Maria Isabel Salvador for her leadership. Within this context, we welcome BINU's coordination of UN agencies through an electoral task force, its continued advice on arms and ammunition in line with the Caribbean Firearms Roadmap, and its engagement with civil society to promote the inclusion of women and youth in discussions around security, economic recovery, reforms, and elections. As we have previously underscored, to be truly Haitian-led and Haitian-owned, Haiti's political process must be inclusive. A whole-of-society approach is critical to ensure that no group is sidelined from the decisions that shape their nation's future. To this end, CARICOM urges this Council to use the renewal of BINU's mandate as a strategic opportunity to advance progress in that country. The Council should give BINU a more robust mandate so that the mission can effectively support Haiti's political transition and impact the situation on the ground in coordination with all stakeholders, agencies, and the Kenyan-led MSS mission. In this regard, CARICOM salutes Kenya's leadership of the mission and strongly commends all other countries that have participated in the mission or contributed to its funding. Excellencies, the Council has long demonstrated its commitment to the people of Haiti, and so we encourage all of you to preserve this unity in the upcoming renewal of BNU's mandate. BNU's role in Haiti is crucial. The mission offers indispensable support to the Haitian government and people in strengthening political stability, security, good governance, and the rule of law, to preserve and advance a peaceful and stable environment, and also to address the root causes of instability. Not only does the mission need a robust mandate, the people of Haiti deserve nothing less. We recognize the importance of integrating the Secretary General's proposals into BNU's mandate. We endorse the proposal that BNU assume new responsibilities, including in supporting Haitian authorities in the handling of the detention and prosecution of high-risk individuals, as well as in the implementation of the arms embargo. We echo the Secretary General's call for BNU's operational activity to be prioritized and adequately funded, including through cost-sharing arrangements with the new support office as needed. Excellencies, as this defining moment, Haiti fatigue cannot be allowed to set in. The crisis is not only a national emergency, but a regional one. The future of Haiti is inextricably linked with the future of our region. CARICOM, through the ongoing efforts of the Eminent Persons Group, will continue to stand by the people of Haiti as they pursue comprehensive peace, stability, and prosperity in their nation. The wider region, through the resolution recently adopted by the Assembly of the Organization of American States, has also indicated its strong support to address the multifaceted challenges in Haiti. Excellencies, in conclusion, while today's meeting is on BNU, CARICOM nevertheless takes this opportunity to call on the Council urgently to consider the proposal of the Secretary General submitted 4 months ago for a hybrid approach in addressing the security situation in Haiti. This stability is critical for progress in other areas, including advancing the political process and addressing the humanitarian situation. Indeed, BNU's mandate will not be effectively implemented without such stability. The Council must therefore act now. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the distinguished permanent representative of Barbados for his statement. I can say that the situation in Haiti remains under active consideration of the Council. There are no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. The meeting is adjourned.